Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to very briefly review, what our FAFSA is. Basically, there are several items, and I'll talk a little bit, and I'll try not to share too much, but I will share a little bit. And the this application that we're referring to, the FAFSA, the form, it's a federal form, will award you with the student with several aid, and let's call it aid, not awards, because we kind of play with those words a little bit in college, whether there's an award that you don't pay back, or aid in general loans, and we'll talk about that. So your student loans, and many of you may have already heard this information, or may be familiar with the student loans that you will receive when you head to college. Now, it could be a community college, it could be any education institution after high school. Now, so you need to submit this form when you are a senior, so in 12th grade. So sophomores and freshmen and juniors, it's wonderful that you're listening to this information, because it's important to kind of start thinking, okay, my senior year, this is one item that you need to add to your check to be completed. Now, you will need your parents' assistance unless you have, maybe you live with other family members, then whoever and I mean parents or guardians. We also work with students who are independent, meaning they don't need any of the information that I will talk with you in a little bit from their parents. That's also okay. So we just need some sort of information about, the annual income, how many people live with you, or what we call dependents. If you've heard of anyone talk about when they submit their income tax return, how many dependents do we have, so how many people live with you? And so that type of information, all that information goes on this form for the government to determine how much money they will award you. The federal government, they can give you. So, but how does the government, how do they determine that information? How do I know how much now? So you need all this information, as I mentioned, but so let me just share this with you. What the government determines is and you'll see it there, I hope you see it now, your financial need. So they need to know, what is your financial need? How much money do you need in order for me as the federal government to give you money? So first, we will determine the cost. They will determine the cost of attendance. So how much will it cost to go to Fort Hays State University, to Johnson County Community College, to Butler Community College, to KU, K-State. So how much? What's the cost of attendance? And then they will subtract the expected family contribution. So based on all the information that I just mentioned, right? The annual income, how much do your parents or guardians, or do you make, that kind of thing. So whatever that family contribution will be, they subtract it. So this is how much college will cost to you. And then we're gonna subtract what for your family or you to contribute. So if there's a remaining amount, that's how much you will pay. That's your financial need. I'm sorry, that's your financial need. Now how much you'll pay. So that's your financial need that you will have, and that's how much they will award you, whether it's in student loans that you'll need to pay back, or grants. So federal Pell Grants. If the government determines that you are a student who needs more additional assistance, or just assistance in general of your family, then you can get some of that money as well, which is again the student loans you pay back, the federal grants you don't. And then there's a third program, that is the work study program, that if you do want to have a job on campus, then you can work, and then with the study program funds that they award you, then they will pay you every however many weeks, every 2 weeks, this on the same day that all university employees earn a paycheck pretty much. So I'll just go ahead and move to the next slide. So I'll just move that one. The types of aid, just very quickly, the gift aids, I mentioned that earlier, or the awards, or the scholarships and grants. I won't go too much into the scholarships because I know that Jean will cover those. I mentioned the grants a little bit based on needs. So need-based grants, again, the government decides hey, your family can use some help, or the student could use some help. Here's some money that you don't pay back. And then the self-aid, again, self-aid would be, again, the student loans that they give to you, to pay for school or the work study program that I just mentioned. And then lastly, scholarships, grants, again, Jean will cover scholarships, grants, not paid back, awarded on financial need. I mentioned that again, the work study program, and the student loans that you borrowed. Now, it is important, everyone, I like to mention that when we talk about the federal financial aid or these funds through the FAFSA, it's important to understand that if you're an undocumented student, or if you have a DACA, if you're undocumented with DACA, among other different statuses, you will not be eligible. You are not eligible for FAFSA for these types of eds that we talked about. However, you are eligible. I'm sorry, not available. I don't know why I said that. You're not eligible for these funds. However, you are eligible for many other programs, scholarships, based on a number of different things, academics, need, lots of things that Jean will cover, and we'll provide you with some options. We have a resource at K-State that I have ready for you. I can show you. Maybe I will share it during the K-State session later. So the four-year university, that way we don't take much time. So I'll stop right there just very quickly with FAFSA, that again, we'll cover a little bit more later, but I'll just hand it over to Jean to go over scholarships.
Perfect. Thank you, Olathe. Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Jean Quintero. I represent the Hispanic Development Fund, and I'll start off by saying that I'm really, really, really excited to be with you all this morning. In the chat box just right now, if you can all head there, I dropped a link, and that link, and excuse me, I need to share my screen first. I'll be starting the presentation here, and that link will take you directly to our playbook, which is the very first thing I'm going to cover in my presentation today. So I'm going to talk about scholarships, other financial aid, but what I really want to highlight quickly firsthand is our bilingual resource in our college playbook. So our college playbook has a lot of really neat information. It will have even a timeline telling you when to apply for colleges, when to enroll, when to apply for scholarships and other aid. It has lists of different, colleges, universities in the Kansas and Missouri areas with different, application dates, different scholarships. And the main reason why I want to highlight this playbook first, and if you all have a chance to download it beforehand, is that throughout my presentation, you are going to see different sections where I'm going to highlight, hey, this is a section that's going to be in the playbook. So it'll be like playbook pages 11 through 15 as an example. So we'll give you a chance to quickly, if you want to get more information, go over to the playbook and you'll be able to find that in there. So one thing I really wanted to highlight once again is our HDF college playbook. Really, really great resource. But of course, I am here to talk about scholarships and of course, free money, which even though I put free money on there, sometimes it requires a bit of work from the student, right? And that work can be different. It can be, maybe doing good in high school and having good grades, having a good ACT score. It can be things like, providing a good essay and a good overall application, right? There's a lot of different ways to earn scholarships. And as Olathe said, a wide range of students are eligible for these scholarships, whether you are a citizen, permanent resident, DACA, or undocumented. Different scholarships have different requirements. For the most part, definitely check each scholarship individually and see what the requirements are, right? But one quick way to earn scholarships is by the college itself, and that can be based on GPA, class rank, or ACT scores. Traditionally, a lot of these scholarships are automatic. So that's great news, right? If you have a strong GPA, strong ACT score, guess what? If you apply, you might get an automatic scholarship, and that really is truly free money. And that's work that you did throughout high school, and you're going to get rewarded for it. Another way is college. The college itself sometimes actually provides scholarships that could be given to you, but sometimes those involve an essay or an additional application. And these scholarships are a bit more specific. So maybe a university might have a scholarship for business students. A university might have a scholarship for Latino students, for students that want to be in nursing school, right? So definitely check with the college or university you want to attend, not only for those automatic scholarships, but for the specific scholarships that might involve a little bit more of an application, but you could get some additional money that way. Private organizations or businesses, once again, these usually involve an essay. And what's a private organization or business? Well, HDF, right? Hispanic Development Fund does provide scholarships here in the Kansas City area. And we're one of many here in the KC area, but not only that, regionally as well. And then throughout the country, there's a lot of different organizations. You'd be surprised at the amount of businesses that are willing to give money to students. That just involves an essay or application to submit, and you're in the running to get these scholarships. And one last thing I do want to highlight on this slide is parent or student employers may offer scholarships. So sometimes parents, it'll be helpful to check with the human resources department, or even you, the student yourself, if you have a job. A lot of different businesses are now giving scholarships to their employees or to their employees' dependents if they're getting ready to go to college, right? So definitely a great thing to highlight there is different scholarships that you can receive. Now I'm going to go into each of those a little bit more specifically. So first thing I mentioned before was, kind of automatic scholarships, right? And that's offered at a lot of different schools in our area: K-State, Emporia State, KCC, JCCC, you name it, right? Definitely check with each school's scholarship website, scholarship, financial aid website for scholarship deadlines or dates that you might need to submit an application for to be eligible for these scholarships. It varies, but it's usually around, December 1st. But once again, check with your school. This is once again based on GPA, class rank, or ACT score. And this is the first time I'm going to highlight the HDF College Playbook, pages 16 through 21. On there, you will find a list of colleges and universities in the area, and it will actually tell you, what the traditional date is for, scholarship deadlines. With COVID, those dates were pushed back a little bit at different institutions. So once again, it does help to go directly to the source, the school, ask them, hey, when is your actual scholarship deadline? I know COVID sometimes changes things. You want to make sure you have the most up-to-date information. What about other institutional scholarships? Well, same story, HDF College Playbook, pages 16 through 21. We actually have a few institutional scholarships already listed out there for you. So, different schools do offer scholarships for their students. One I want to highlight is the College of St. Mary out in Nebraska. They offer a scholarship called a Misericordia Scholarship, which is a full ride scholarship, right? And it's a really, really great scholarship for undocumented students here in the Kansas City area. But once again, that is an institutional scholarship that isn't automatic by any means, but you do want to get an application in before the deadline to see if you're possibly in the running for that, really neat full ride scholarship at the College of St. Mary. So that's just a quick highlight out of the many that are offered at all these different institutions. And a lot more, of course. Definitely check pages 16 through 21 of the FDH College Playbook. A few more slides here. What about private scholarships, right? Well, absolutely. This is our thing that we really want to shout out from the rooftops is apply for private scholarships on top of your institutional scholarships. So here I have a couple, here in the Kansas City area that offer scholarships. The one that I, of course, want to highlight is the Hispanic Development Fund Scholarship, which is offered to students from the greater Kansas City area. And our deadline every year is actually March 1st. And you're thinking to yourself, well, today is March 27th, right? So yes, for the seniors in the room, if you were unable to apply, keep in mind this scholarship is eligible for students who are in their senior year or are in college, right? So I really want to stress this out to the juniors in the room and then to the seniors in this room as well. Next year, when you're either a 12th grader or when you are in your years of college, apply for the HDF scholarship. It really is tremendous. You need to be, you need to attend a Kansas City high school for at least 3 years. Of course, Hispanic descent, Latino descent, and provide an essay. So we do have an essay requirement for our HDF scholarship. We traditionally open it up January 1st of each year, and our deadline usually is always March 1st of each year. So keep those dates in mind. We're excited to have you possibly apply for that next year. And then, of course, other scholarships that we have is the Greater Kansas City Community Foundation scholarships. So that is actually our, parent company. They provide a lot of other great scholarships as well. And the Casey Scholars, which is traditionally offered for juniors. So that's one that maybe you might would have heard of. But for those sophomores in the room, keep the scholarship, the Casey Scholars scholarship in mind for next year. And Amy, thank you so much for providing that link out in the chat box. Of course, it was on the slide, but I appreciate you getting it in the chat box for everyone that we can quickly go on there and review a bit more information about the HDF Scholarship Fund. Just a couple more slides. I am looking closely at our time. I want to be respectful of that, but I just have a couple quick last things to go over.
Gene, we'll wait until 10:50 to switch, so you've got a little bit of time.
Perfect. I appreciate that, Amy. Thank you for the heads up there. All right. So just want to quickly highlight other scholarships and apps. What we have here, Scholarly, FAFSA. These are what might be known as scholarship search engines, right? If you go on these websites, you can, put a bit of information about yourself and let you know about not only Kansas City scholarships, but scholarships all over the country that you can apply for, right? So those resources are there for you. It just takes just a small little bit of work on your end to go out there, get your name out there, and see what scholarships are out there, the ones that you can apply for. Their scholarships, every scholarship has their own different requirements, so make sure to look at those closely. But once again, for the students that are maybe DACA or undocumented in the room, there are scholarships out there for you to apply for, even on a regional and on a nationwide level. One thing I really want to quickly go over is private student loans. When Mandai, she talked about the FAFSA, and the FAFSA, can offer you a loan, whether it's subsidized or unsubsidized. And another way to get money is a private student loan. And this is just something I want to throw out there, that once you've gone through the FAFSA, if you're eligible, once you've applied for, scholarships, institutional scholarships, maybe gotten some grants, once you've gone through all that, if you really are in a situation where you might need a bit more money, loans might be an option. Private student loans might be an option, but definitely check out what I have here written. These are financed by private companies, banks, credit unions, rather than the government. So interest rates, fees are going to be a bit more higher than, a FAFSA provided, loan. And the more money you accept in private loans, the less federal aid you'll qualify for, because it'll look like in the government's eyes that you have more resources available. And so as I highlight there on my screen, we do not recommend these loans. If you are eligible for federal loans, definitely go that route first. And once you've, gone through everything, this might be, one of those last things you'll do. But, just something I want to throw out there. If you need a bit more money, private student loans, but once again, not heavily recommended. And students' college savings, it definitely does help if a student or parents open up just a quick little, college savings account, a savings account for students dedicated to college expenses. Because research shows that even having just a little bit of money saved up is going to be beneficial down the road, right? As you can see here with our statistics, if you have no college savings graduating from high school, chances of enrollment might be a little bit down, and the chance of graduation might be even worse. But the numbers drastically start to improve if you have just a bit of money saved up. So $1 to even $499 saved up, enrollment chances skyrocket, graduation chances skyrocket. And then if you have $500 or more saved up in just, money saved up for college, once that time comes, enrollment numbers, huge, graduation numbers, even better, right? So just a bit of money, it's going to go a long way for you. And then, of course, other things for parents and for college to mention, enrollment fees, room and board deposits, transportation costs, online fees, books, spending money. These are additional costs that come with college besides tuition and fees. So definitely be aware of these, because these definitely do pop up at different universities, different colleges. Just an example we have here, an enrollment fee last year was $200 at the University of Missouri. A room and board deposit for those that are going to live on campus, $350 last year, right? Transportation costs, right? Gas if you need a car. Sometimes, there's lab fees or maybe an additional fee if you're taking an online course, not always, but sometimes. And then books, estimate about $100 or more per class. That's all, once again, depending on the university, the college, cost of books. And then, of course, spending money. You might want to have a chance to maybe go out, see a movie, hang out with friends, just a little bit of money on the side that you can enjoy with. And that's about it. So I did put up my information on the screen. Gene Quintero, my official title at HDF is Family College Prep Program Advisor. There's my email and my phone number. You can text me, you can call me. Always willing to help out in any way I can. And that about wraps up my portion of the session. I'll turn it back over to Amy or Madai if you need to open up for questions or anything like that.
Thank you, Jean. I want to just very quickly, just because we have a few minutes, everyone, I want to encourage, again, because we cover FAFSA and scholarships and things, but I do want to encourage all of you, those of you not eligible for FAFSA due to your immigration status, please, 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 please don't be discouraged. I very quickly, and this is not only about K-State, because I have seen other universities with similar websites. So do you see this? What do you see on the screen? Do you see the scholarships or the Dream Zone?
The Dream Zone is what we see.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you. I have so many screens. Okay, so everyone, so this is one resource that I developed at K-State, the K-State Dream Zone, with lots of resources for undocumented, documented, and students with mixed immigration statuses. Now, if you go to your external scholarships, the external scholarships link or tab, you will see a number of programs and scholarships that are available to you all. Undocumented friendly. Notice that now, let me share something. These are not K-State scholarships. This is scholarships for students. So even if you don't come to K-State, you go to another school, you can still apply for these. So the first one, the Albright Foundation, that one closes May 1. So it's still open, everyone. Is need-based. So if you have that need, apply. The LULAC scholarship, the Kansas LULAC scholarship that I coordinate, that one closes next weekend. And again, you see like the Hispanic Development Fund and a few others that Jean talked about. So again, you can visit this page just because there are scholarships available to you, even if you go to whatever school. So keep that in mind. And like I said, I've seen others. I don't know how much info is on there at this point because I haven't checked recently, but I know KU, I know Wichita State, I believe Fort Hays, Johnson County. I know they have community college and many others. They have it, if you look for Undocumented or Dreamers, they have some sort of, page or maybe information or resource. Again, look into it because that may just be information available and resources available for you all that may not be eligible for federal aid. So super. Hold on. There's a question. Amy's answering Alex's question. We're about to switch, but was there a question? Oh, yes.
We got the questions answered. Oh, there's one more.
Do I need to be a full-time student in order to apply for full-time scholarships? Butler does not require students in the program. Yeah, so if the scholarship requires full-time enrollment, you must be a full-time student. Not all scholarships require full-time enrollment, so you definitely want to look into Maria, the requirements for any specific scholarship. So absolutely look into those. I mentioned the LULAC one, and I know that's one I'm familiar with because that's an organization that I direct. So that one does not require, it only requires 6 credit hours. So we have others. And again, always contact the scholarship coordinators or the program. If you're not sure, ask those questions. Hey, do you require, full-time enrollment? So excellent. Thank you all. Okay, it's time you stay here in the room. You don't go anywhere. So enjoy your next session about preparing for college. Jean and I will bounce out of here until our next session, but enjoy and we'll see you in the main room later on.
Thank you, Madai, and thank you, Jean. It looks like Elva and Jonathan are on. I don't know if I see Perla. Oh, yep, it looks like everyone's on. So everyone should have screen sharing ability, so take it away.
Alrighty, hi everybody. How's everyone doing? Pretty good, to me, hopefully. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on my presentation. It'll be really brief. Don't really have a lot of time. So first, College 101, a crash course on how to prepare for college, 9th to 11th grade edition. My name is Jonathan Cervantes. I'm a second year advisor at Wyandotte High School and also work with the Kansas State College Advising Corps. Starting off, ask yourself, how early is too early to plan for college? This is, of course, a rhetorical question. It's never too early. Planning for college involves much more than just test taking, filling out forms, taking out standardized tests, asking teachers for recommendation letters. The process requires a lot of self-reflection and really figuring out what you want to do, not what people have told you should do. That seems to be a really big issue nowadays with students. So starting off, kind of like what you should do to prepare for college. In the 9th grade, as early as the 9th grade, you should get started by focusing on your academics. Starting your 9th grade year, GPA starts to impact class rank and your cumulative GPA. There's 2 major factors that will take role in like selective college process and then like the selective college admissions process. Trying to recover a 2.3, a rough start. Your 9th grade will be mathematically difficult as the years progress. I also tell students to get very involved. The difference between a student with a 4.0 and no involvement and a 3.8 with a lot of involvement is very, very very big. Their essays are way different. And for the most part, a lot of students get scholarships by being very involved. It may not have perfect GPA, but the involvement, the leadership just really stands out nowadays. And first, and of course, your 9th grade, learn who you are. learn what you like to do, not what, you know, maybe you've been told you should do. Like if you have been told you should be an engineer, you get in and you're just like, I really don't like engineering. Well, that's a sign, you know, you should really learn who you are, what, you know, so when it comes later on, you do what you want to do, go to the school you want to, so you're happy, because ultimately you'll be taking this 4-year journey on your own. So, and it'll be your journey, not anyone else's journey. And then of course, in the 10th grade, things start to get a little serious. I tell students to practice the PSAT or the practice ACT. Begin to explore your college majors. This is a big one. A lot of students come senior year, they don't really know what they want to study. I mean, they have an idea, and it's kind of hard to get it out. So starting 10th grade, you should probably start thinking about it, not really, you know, like using a lot of, College Board has a lot of great surveys you could take that help you with that. If you're unfamiliar with a college counselor or advisor, please get to know them. Maintain your academic rigor and attend any college awareness events or anything targeting underclassmen. Gear Up, Trio, and Avid are great programs to get involved in. Those are all programs that are in different high schools depending on your area. I know in my high school, we work very closely with Trio and Gear Up at Wichita State and KU Gear Up. So it just depends on what school you're at and getting involved with those programs, because more often than not, money is attached to them, and also like a lot of like extracurricular like learning, and just like it'll just help you prepare, be really prepared. And then 11th grade, it gets really serious. You can take direct action for your college readiness process in the 11th grade. If you have not taken the practice ACT, you can, but honestly, you should probably just take the ACT or the SAT starting 11th grade. Make sure you use your waivers. You qualify for 4 waivers. Now they just changed it for the ACT. Not 100% sure about the SAT. I think it's 2 still. If you've not done so already, create a Raise Me account and start putting in your information. These are micro scholarships that do add up. Also, making sure you have your documents in place for when you apply to scholarships, making sure you have tax returns from the previous year, making sure you have a resume written, making sure you have an essay, like a starter essay, I like to call it. It's just like your life story, basically. And then what you do for scholarships, you just take bits and put them into another essay. And it just really helps you be organized. Another thing as well, creating a college list with a healthy mix of colleges and universities that you're interested in. Of about the 10 colleges, this should be a mixture of public and private, just so you can get exposed to different things to see what you like. And then of course, practice your ensuring financial information and filling out forms. The College Board ESP calculator helps you do that, and knowing what you might get in the FAFSA next year will help you kind of plan your like scholarship search and financial aid search. And then take advantage of any college fairs or visits in your city or in your local high school. Again, this will come from being connected into your like local resources, your counselors. Just be very connected and reach out. A lot of people don't reach out and they just wait till senior year. Don't do that. You know, be annoying. You know, be consistent. Be like always email. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really like emailing. You know, we're virtual right now and it's really hard, and I understand that. But I cannot like reiterate enough, you have to reach out. And then for all grades, I always tell everybody there's different scholarship opportunities based off your grade level. 9th grade, we have Casey Scholars and the Give Back Scholarship. We have Give Back again in 10th grade. We have Casey Scholars and the Honeywell Hope Scholarship junior year. Senior year, we have the Hispanic Development Fund. We have a lot of foundation scholarships. If you're in KCK, you have the KCK Foundation for Excellence. You have a lot of the Kansas City Community Foundation scholarships. So you just have a lot. And honestly, every grade, anytime it's a scholarship anywhere, apply for it. So parents, you might be asking, what can you do to help your student support your student? I would start off by just, being supportive, having that conversation with students. A lot of people get really anxious about college searching, about like the college search process. So just have that conversation, be really open and intentional with your student. That'll go a long way. And then, of course, so I know I rushed through the slides. You may not have had a chance to read them, but and I don't know how we're doing questions in this session. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat or private message me. You can also email me or text me at my cell phone. My name is Jonathan Ruiz Cervantes. I'm with Wyandotte High School. Please reach out. I am more than happy to help you connect you to a resource at your high school. If you're on the Missouri side, I know a lot of Missouri high schools. I know a lot of people in the MCAT, the Missouri College Advising Corps. So if you need help with any of that, please reach out to me. I think Amy is moderating the session, so I'll hand it over to her. And I'll leave this up for a little bit.
Jonathan, we answered most of the questions in the chat. I thought you could touch on Evelyn said, I am a junior right now in high school. So is it a good idea to start applying for scholarships now?
Yes, if you're a junior now, the KC Scholars did just pass, but there are a lot of scholarships available depending on your, I do need a clarifier. What district are you in, or what high school do you go to? Because your opportunities do change depending on the district and high school you are in. You are in
Olathe.
Olathe North and Olathe. Okay, so your college advisor is Miss Taylor. Have you talked to Miss Taylor?
No, I have not, but my Spanish teacher helps me like a lot with this stuff, but he hasn't really said anything. I don't know.
Okay.
Talk about college stuff like that. They kind of just, I don't know.
Yeah, so your college advisor that works is my colleague, Miss Taylor. She's really good.
I have
and
heard
she's
of her.
awesome. Okay, yeah, she's really awesome. She can get you connected on Olathe specific opportunities. KC Scholars just passed, but what you can do is you can start applying now going into the summer for a lot of the senior year scholarships. I recommend you make a Raise Me account, start putting in your grades, all your extracurriculars. Additionally, start looking up scholarships on the internet, and then also I know the Kansas City Community Foundation. I would make an account there, and they have a lot of scholarships like year round, and they have different deadlines. So I would look on there. It's all based off of the deadlines. And then also just preparing for next year, Evelyn, I would make my FSA ID now. I know you may not have been exposed to what the FAFSA is yet, but making the FSA ID now helps you a lot to get all your information settled for when October opens, October 1st, so when the FAFSA opens, you apply immediately. So yeah, that's what I would start off with. Yes, so basically, too long didn't read. Yes, apply for scholarships now. If you find them, reach out to Ms. Taylor for opportunities. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. And since the people stayed in the room from last time, Madai and Jean gave some really good websites like the Greater Kansas City Foundation, KC Scholars, things like that. So they've already been given some of those websites that you have mentioned in the chat. I don't think you can see that because you're in the other session, but we have posted a lot of the scholarship websites that you've talked about in the chat. We've got about 15 minutes left, so we'll turn it over to Elva or Perla. Not sure who's next.
I guess I can go ahead and do the same process we did before. So my name is Perla Weaver, and I'm an associate professor in the Department Chair of Computer Science and Information Systems at Johnson County Community College. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about options that you have to start college while you are still in high school. So one of those options is dual credit. At JCCC, we call that College Now. But basically, these are courses that are offered at your high school with your high school teachers. But you have an option to enroll at a university or a college and earn that college credit. You have to pay for your college fees, but you should always talk to your district because there's a lot of options for special funds or scholarships. Sometimes entire schools just cover that credit. It also depends on what credit it is, what course you're taking. So don't let that money side stop you from taking one of these options. These courses come in a wide variety. So the most common are probably math, English, and science, but you can also do social sciences, humanities, psychology, computer science. Tons of courses are offered as a dual enrollment option. And so this is one where you're taking your credit for your class, but you're also earning that college credit at the same time. Another option that you can have in your schools is either advanced placement, which is called AP, or the International Baccalaureate, which also we call just IB. Those are the common words. These courses, again, offer at your high school with your high school teachers, no difference than what other students, you would be normally taking. The difference is that you take at the end of your course, at some point, you take a national standardized test. And that test is what determines sort of your grade for that course, not internally. These two are separate. So you have your internal grade for your course, but then you have this score. And that's what the universities will consider and will take into account as to how they accept that. There's a wide variety. So you actually have to go in and see, well, how do they take this AP credit to find out how it would count. It's based on those scores that you have. It's based on the type of course. But the nice thing is that it does most of the time give you some college credit. It might be towards your major. It may be as an elective, or it may be just for placement only so that you can, start at a higher point in the courses that you're taking. But most of the time, if you get a good enough score, it will count one way or another. Another good option is just look for direct enrollment options. So this is where you can enroll at a university or a college while you're still in high school. This has grown a lot with online learning in the last year or so. You have to follow the same process. You have to apply, you have to get registered and follow the university or the college instructions. But many schools allow this non-degree seeking students. And a lot of times they'll have restrictions as to what kind of high school students they will take, but it's not hard to find those options, especially if you're looking at your local universities and you're looking at your local community colleges. We're very good at that. In this sense, one of the best things that you get is that you have the opportunity to take a college level course at a college. So you get that rigor and the pace that you should expect once you move out of high school. So your high school students, a lot of times you have an AP course that spans over a year. That's going to be in a semester with maybe about 15 sessions with the teacher. Very, very different environment. So it's good to get that experience. Those classes don't have to be math or English. So in the summer, if you have a chance to take those classes, it's a very good option. And Kansas, so if you're in the Kansas side, we have an option to get enrollment for free in what is called Excel and CTE courses. These are, as long as you're still in high school, you can have access to these for free. They used to be called Senate Bill 155. That's the law that passed this option for high school students. You can do in JCCC a search with the keyword SB 155, and it gives you a huge list of courses that you can take for free. These are courses that are career exploration, so no math or English, but accounting or welding or computing or web design. There's a ton of things that are considered career exploration that would give you the option to enroll for free. So great way to maybe add something over the summer. I have added something in here just for resources. So when you get this this PowerPoint, then you can maybe search for some things at JCCC if you want some more information. So I'll stop right there. I'll try to answer the questions, and then if that way, maybe Elva, you have a little bit more option to move forward.
Okay, I'll just go ahead. I'm sorry, was there a question?
No, I didn't see any questions in the chat. Jonathan, did you want to talk about what I messaged you?
Yeah, yes, if you are in KCKPS, you can take college and tech classes at the KCKCC Community College. You can also do tech. All you need to do is take the AccuPlacer and talk to your counselor, and they can add that to your schedule the next semester. And they will add that to your schedule, and you'll do like a lab where you get to do those classes during school. And if you want to do tech, any technical degrees or CNA, anything like that, nursing assistant, EMT, you get to set up your bus transportation and all that if you actually go to the technical center. And if you need help with that, let me know what high school you're in, and I'll get you contacted with your diploma plus facilitator.
All right, well, I will go ahead and start. My name is Elva Medina, and I'm school counselor at Olathe Northwest High School. And so for the rest of the presentation, I just want to talk about some resources that are available to you at your school to help you with the college going process. So parents and students, just letting you know, all of you are assigned to a counselor. Now, there are some districts that are fortunate enough to have what we call the college advisors, which is an awesome group of individuals such as like Jonathan. And we have another one, his name is Luis, that is with the Olathe School District. And so part of the process that we do together as a group is guide you towards steps to get there. So starting off with 9th grade. So I'm the 9th, 10th grade counselor for my high school, but I really help all grades because, you know, at the end of the day, we want you to be successful in any way that we can help you. So one of the things that it's super important to do is one, get an appointment with your counselor. And like I mentioned, some of your school districts have specific college counselors. And so if you message, maybe like some of you have like a homeroom teacher, if you don't know who that counselor that is assigned to you is, you know, send them an email, ask them, hey, like, I don't know who my counselor is, and I need to set up a meeting to talk about college. And, you know, there's always someone in your building that will guide you into the right direction. So with that saying, like, you're not, some of you might be thinking like, oh, well, I'm a freshman. Like, why do I need to like talk about college now? Well, one of the things that's very important is that we need to make sure that you're passing all of your classes and that you have all of the graduation requirements that are going to get you to the next step. As if you're choosing to go to a community college, if you're choosing to go to a four-year university, if you're choosing to take a gap year, if you're choosing to go to a trade school, there's elements within your school that will help you get to that decision-making process. So like I mentioned, very important. If you get something out of this today, please remember that there's always people within your school district that can help you towards this process. And then, like we mentioned, Jonathan, he's awesome. I think he gives out his email to like everybody he knows. So, and I know he put it on here a couple. So he is super helpful, willing to help any soul, myself too. You know, many of the things that we do is because we're very passionate about it and because we were probably where you are at now. Like I was a first gen ed student and I was really clueless. And so I used the help of community organizations, events like this that helped me get to, you know, to where I am today, which I am very happy being a school counselor. So with that being said, like, how did I get to being a school counselor? Well, you know what? I was not like in high school and said like, I want to be a school counselor. It took me kind of getting to know who I was as a person and moving around through like different elements and jobs that caught me to where I was today. So if a lot of you have, you know, are not, you know, you want to go to college, but you don't know exactly what you want to study, all school districts have what we call a career assessment, and it's on my little presentation here. So if you are within the Olathe school district, we have a partnership with Zello. And so this is the career assessment that you use. We have what we call a career matchmaker. And so it kind of helps you with the process of eliminating like career or majors that you might be interested in pursuing. If you are with the KCK school district, or if you are with Blue Valley School District, I know they use the program Navian, so that's the second. Google is another wonderful tool. Just Google career assessment. And actually, I'm going to post this other link here online. K-State actually customized a career assessment for you guys today. So I just put it on the chat. Feel free. I send it to the chat to Amy, so I need to send it to everyone. So feel free to use that. It's a very helpful tool that will just kind of help you figure out, you know, what process of elimination to use. I was giving the example earlier to the other session that yesterday, like I mentioned, I work with 9th and 10th grade students, and he was coming in to talk about college and, you know, how to get there. And I told them, hey, let's start off looking at your elective options. What are some of the electives that you are really interested in doing? And we can kind of take it from there. And so he was interested in baking and food science. And then he was also interested in, he said he really enjoys spending time at the barbershop. And so I told him, hey, like, being a barber is a great profession. If you really enjoy that, you know, there's opportunities to grow a business. So I told him, hey, why don't we start off taking some business classes? And then as far as taking classes for, because he really liked baking and food science in those courses, I told him, hey, there's really a lot of opportunities in culinary school and restaurant management. So let's start kind of exploring those options. So basically what I do with my students, I ask them, hey, at least meet with me once a year. Ideally, we would meet every semester just to make sure that at the end of the semester, like you're at where you need to be at. As far as with grades are really important. You definitely, if you can, maintain an A or B average. That will give you the best opportunities when you get to that scholarship application process. Because it's just going to make you competitive amongst your peers. So anything that you can do to get to that AB is going to be fantastic. Let's see, what else do I need to touch base? We talked a little bit about the ACT. There were some questions about the ACT, and this is true for the state of Kansas. All of the juniors have the opportunity to take the ACT in February of your junior year. So I know some of you asked for ACT waivers, and all school districts should have ACT waivers. If you are within the Olathe school district, I know that each high school is allocated waivers, and so you can message your school counselor and ask them about that ACT waiver if you need one. And if not, you know, Shawnee Mission has some too, and I'm sure KCK would have some of those waivers as well if you're interested in taking those tests. I do want you to know that I did attend like an ACT workshop, and they recommend that you take the ACT after you have completed Algebra 2. Because there's a lot of algebra in the ACT. So just that's a little tip that I learned that I didn't necessarily know. So make sure you have advanced past the Algebra 2 so that you don't get any surprises within the math portion for the ACT. And then I did see here on the chat that there are waivers for both states, for Missouri and Kansas. So if you're from Missouri, there is a waiver for you. And I'm going to kind of open this up for questions now, and you can go ahead and either enter them through the chat, or you can unmute yourself and then ask us any questions. Okay, thank you.